All right, folks, we're back at it again. Fresh off of two Game 7s. It's the second round matchup between the Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors. Now, both teams just came off of Game 7 series between, the Heat and the Hornets and the Raptors and the Pacers. Both series went back and forth, as you could tell. Very good NBA basketball. If you're a fan of Game 7, there's nothing better in the game of sports or sports overall than Game 7, because the superstars usually always show up in Game 7. As far as this series goes, man, we'll start with the coaching matchup. Casey versus Spoelstra. All right. Now, Dwayne Casey has been somewhat of a journeyman. And don't you know what? Both of these guys kind of mirror each other, man. I mean, Casey's been a coach in the league for a very long time, assistant coach in the league very long time. And then you look at Spoelstra. Spoelstra is the definition of work yourself up through an organization to become the head coach. He's done it the hard way. Um, Both of these guys are, pedal to the metal, get the job done, work on the fundamentals. Very, very good coaches. Both of these coaches are very good. Um, I want to give the slight advantage to Spoelstra because he's been to the finals. He's been there before. But he also had LeBron, he had Bosh, he had Wade. So to a certain extent, you gotta look at him and say, eh. But in this coaching matchup, I have to give the advantage to Spoelstra because he's been there. I think that Dwayne Casey has been on some championship staffs, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on this. Don't hold me completely to it. But I'm pretty sure Casey has been there before. He's definitely been to the playoffs a few dozen times on coaching staffs. So I can say that this coaching matchup is pretty even, but I'll lean a little bit more towards Spoelstra. I think that that's fair. As far as the matchup for everybody to watch for in this series, look, all right. I know that the Toronto fans probably, ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. All right. Before I get to the matchups that matters, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan have done nothing in this playoffs. That series with the Pacers shouldn't have went 7 games, and they probably shouldn't have won that 7th game either. All right, but they won. They did what they had to do. I did pick them to survive that series. They'll be able to hold off Paul George and those guys long enough to advance to this next round. I don't think that they can play those games with the Miami Heat. Now, getting into the matchup that I think that everybody should be watching for. I wanted to say that to say this. Dwayne Wade is still elite. All right, he proved that in Game 6 against the Hornets. You do not play with Dwayne Wade in crunch time. He is the reason why they even won that series. Why I went 7 games, and the Hornets had their chance to close it out in 6, and that was their best chance to do it. And Dwayne Wade said, "Not this time, sucker." That's what he said. Um, Wade versus DeRozan is going to be the matchup that I think that everybody should watch out for because Dwayne Wade is a finisher. He's proven this time and time again. DeRozan just needs to step up. There is no way in the world that Kyle Lowry can shoot under 40% and DeRozan have games in which he just disappears and Toronto still advances to the conference finals. It's not going to happen. DeRozan needs to show up huge in this series, and if he doesn't, they'll just get blown out. All right, they'll just get blown out. They'll just get blown out because Wade. I think that Wade's performance. I don't think that Wade's going to put up 40 a night or anything, but I think that to a certain extent, he's going to be able to outperform DeRozan because he's been there before. The wily old veteran that can still do it usually takes advantage in the situation, but it's a matchup that I think that people should watch out for. Now, as far as fantasy goes, this series is so hard to kind of predict. I think that the most stable part in fantasy here is probably Whiteside. Whiteside's minutes have been a little bit more solid. He's in the starting lineup and everything. I think that he's probably the most solid play here. I said Wade, but Wade is like one of those guys where, like I said, him and DeRozan, that matchup right there, both of those guys could go quiet up until like the last game, the game six, Wade really hasn't hit too many threes. He doesn't take that shot too much. All right. So as far as fantasy goes, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt when you look at Wade and those guys. I would look at Dragic if you're looking for a point guard. He should be mid priced. Lowry's gonna be like 8K on FanDuel and all those other sites. Lowry's underperformed, but he can perform pretty well in this series if you give him the chance to. Valanciunas, all those other guys, those guys are like supplementary plays. If the matchups are there, you can play them, but I'm not going crazy about them at all whatsoever. If you're looking for like deep entry plays, Richardson is a deep entry play. Um, Patterson is a deep entry play. Bismack Biyombo seems like he just averages a double double off the bench. He's probably one of those guys. Like if you're gonna play LeBron and the rest of those guys like do stars and scrubs, you probably need Biyombo. So there's a plenty of options here for you when it comes to fantasy. All right. Now let's just get down to who's going to win the series. All right. I don't want to give the Raptors the Hawks treatment and just give y'all no respect. Put respect on my name, right? I don't want to disrespect these dudes too much, but it's just like when Kyle Lowry doesn't show up, when DeMar DeRozan doesn't come up, and you're telling me that Nolan Powell's going to put up 25 points, slap yourself. All right. If you're telling me that Valanciunas is going to put up 30 and 10 like he's Brook Lopez, slap yourself. All right. It's just not going to happen. Toronto needs these guys, Lowry and DeRozan, to perform at a very, very high level in order for them to even contend with the Heat. All right, because the Heat can get 25 points from out of Dang. They can get 15, 20 points out of Joe Johnson. They can get a triple double out of Wade. They can get a double double, guaranteed that Whiteside will have a double double average during the series out of Whiteside. So the Heat have a bunch of weapons um that Toronto just has no answer for on paper, on film. It just looks bad. I mean, Toronto struggled with Jan Mahimi. I mean, let's be real here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and Jan Mahimi is not a bad player, all right, but he's not Whiteside. So if you're telling me that you're struggling with Jan Mahimi, what do you think Whiteside's gonna do? I mean, just say I'm laughing so hard I'm getting hiccups thinking about it. So I think that the Heat win this series in 6 games. Toronto better get their act together, or it'll be 5. All right, all y'all Drake fans out there, Paul George. Look, Paul George might not necessarily be completely elite, but he played better in that first round series than Lowry and DeRozan did, and those guys ain't elite. All right, they're on the same level, superstar levels, as Horford and Millsap, all those other guys. I'll say it right here. They need to play on an elite level in order to beat the Heat. So let me know how you guys feel down below. It's the WC. I'm taking the Heat in 6 games, maybe even 5. And until next time, folks, peace out.